Lori, Late Night Lori from Lori's Little Bit of Craftin, coming to you from Wisconsin almost before midnight. So we're going to still pretend it's Monday, February 16th at 11:59 p.m. and hopefully we have sound. Yay. I did not reboot my phone, so it's always a I'll say a crapshoot, right? So, welcome. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the United States. And let me get my other device set up here. And we'll get cooking. So I'm just gonna recap a couple of my announcements while we're waiting for folks to come on board. And then we'll cover a little business from last night's project because there was a request. Hello, Suzanne. How are you? Happy Tuesday, I guess. How was your Monday? I'm doing all right. I feel like I was busy all day but didn't necessarily accomplish a whole lot. I'm not sure why that is. I think part of it was a big part of my day was spent doing administrative stuff for the college that I retired from, but I'm still involved with the CPR program. So I was doing a lot of that tonight, like hours of stuff for that, because there's new guidelines that went into effect in the fall, but they become effective March 1st. So hello, Yuda. Hello, Juju. Welcome. Oh yeah, I called her Suzanne. I have to try to remember to call you Jess. Oh dear. So maybe Juju can hook you up with some muscle relaxers. Not that I would never encourage you to share prescription drugs, of course. So, well, I'm sorry you're so uncomfortable. I mean, I've done muscle relaxers too, but they don't really seem to do a whole lot for me. How's your back doing, Juju? Suzanne, I'm glad it did kind of like release itself, hopefully. Maybe you just needed a break, right? Well, I'm glad you're feeling better too, Juju. All right. I have not found any new lights that I like yet. Is my video, oh, I was going to say, is my video stalled because there was nothing moving there. But my video is delayed, so if I'm late on comments, that's why. All right, so did anybody see there's a big announcement coming up? So let me do a couple of these quickie announcements first. We've got bonus days. Well, thank you, Yuda. I appreciate the thumbs up. Sleep good. If you earned any bonus day coupons. All right, well, I'll just keep calling you Suzanne then because she can have the pet name that she created for you. I don't know what you guys call me when I show up. At least, hopefully it's not bad names if I'm not paying attention. So anyway, if you earn bonus day coupons before February 2nd, make sure that you use them by the end of February. So February 28th, they will expire. I have a busy week next week. This week. Monday, I had an open studio time. Maybe that's why I'm so crazed. Wednesday, we've got Coffee and a Card for those that are local to me. On the 19th, it's not on here, I wrote it at the bottom, we've got that Stampin' Up! Virtual class, and I do have all of the products. I'm hoping I didn't order the class twice. It could happen. I have to look through my emails for it. And then the 22nd, I'm actually meeting with one of my almost local team members. She needs help with some stuff computer-wise. So I'm not sure if I do this Zoom open office hour, it will be later in the afternoon Central Time. So I'm in Wisconsin. Right now it's about 12:07 a.m. on Tuesday the 17th. So keep that in mind. It will probably be later in the afternoon. So here's the big surprise. We've got free shipping. All right, so February 18th. So Wednesday, it'll start. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I'm so glad that Stampin' Up! Has changed this from a 1-day free shipping to a 3-day free shipping. They don't give us a whole lot of notice, but at least they give us a few days to get caught up if we missed it. So they just announced this today. In the US, your orders have to be at least $75 of product, so tax is not included, but you don't have to pay shipping. So if you've got a list started, now would be the time to take advantage of free shipping. They seem to be doing this a little more often than I remember in years past. So I think it's a really good incentive because a lot of companies do free shipping if you order a certain amount. So hopefully this is something that they'll keep offering frequently. This is that Lovely Blossoms virtual card kit that's on the 19th. We're going to start at 2 p.m. Mountain Time, so that's going to be 3 p.m. here. Anybody who's local to me, if you have ordered the virtual class and want to come hang out and do a watch party, let me know. We might be able to do the things together because I did get all of the goodies. So let me just grab those quick. So if you want to do the virtual class, haven't ordered it yet because you're thinking, oh, I don't have all my stuff, you can still do the class either virtually when it's live or on demand later, because you'll be invited to a private Facebook group. If you don't do Facebook, it's going to be a little bit of an issue. I don't remember. I think they load them to YouTube after the fact, but don't hold me to that. I don't remember. But anyway, you can still craft with whatever stuff you have. Okay, you'll get instructions and all of that. So the suite is item 167, 193. If you wanted to try to order all of the things, the suite is currently unavailable because these Moody Palette Glossy Dots are out of stock right now. So you can still order the stamp and die set, the Lovely Arrangements bundle. You'd save 10% by ordering them together. You can still get the Lovely Stripes embossing folder. That is still available. You can still get the Lovely Blossoms 12x12 Designer Series paper. That is still available. And you can still get the cloud cover ribbon. And this looks like it's about half an inch. Half an inch or 3/4 of an inch. Okay, it's a little more than a half inch, 5/8 inch, okay? This ribbon is still available. So you can get everything except for these Moody Palette Glossy Dots, all right? So that's what this class is all about. Let's go ahead and move this out of the way. Now, the other thing is if you're not a demonstrator, so you're not getting a discount, you're not getting early access to catalogs or products, you might want to consider joining. Especially if you're ordering $75 to take care of that free shipping, although you get free shipping when you join anyway. So that wouldn't be a big deal. But if you're considering ordering that much anyway, if you get your order to $99, you may as well join and then get a discount on your stuff for at least several months, right? That's what a lot of the gals that hang around here have done. They were kidnappers, which is fine. So let's get down to the nitty gritty. Hello, Rosa. Oh, that's what I need to do. I need to send you the tracking number for your Wheel of Names gift because it's shipping tomorrow. Oh, don't let me forget. Before you leave, remind me to send your tracking number. I should write myself a note. Tracking number to Rosa. And then the rest of you that have been awarded little gifts from me for the Wheel of Names game, just know that everything's on order. And as soon as it comes in, I will get things bundled up and out the door. So there's actually a couple of you that were very lucky and got things off the bonus round as well as a stamp set. So be looking for stuff. All right. So last night, for those of you that hung around, we did this Easter basket card. I did some die cutting ahead of time, did a little fussy cutting here. We put some Wink Stella on the flowers and the carrots, and just did the front kind of basic with one of the postcard pieces from the Easter Joy Specialty Designer Series paper. And then on the inside, we made the little pop-up basket, the Easter basket, the 3D thing. And then I put a little bunny on the inside. All right. And I don't remember if Allie's not here right now, but Allie had asked for kind of a drawing for how I put the basket together. So what I did was I took a few little pieces here, and if she comes and watches the replay or if she comes in late, she and anybody else can get this kind of the template from me. So with the dies from the Easter basket set, you're going to cut 4 of the basket. Okay. 2 do in whatever color you want, or designer series paper or whatever. Remember to make your little carrier piece that's 1/4 inch by 5, kind of folded in half, and then a little diagonal cut to make it a little pointier to go through your slats to do your weaving. If you put 2 little slats in here, you can weave 2 through at a time and then just separate them and put your 3rd one in the middle. That worked really well yesterday, so you only have to weave through twice instead of 3 times. All right, so 2 will be, excuse me, 2 will be used for the basket. And, you know, we could still put those handles together. I might want to do that. I contemplated that last night when I was cutting everything or laying it out, but I didn't do anything with it. So I think I'm going to do that. So anyway, squirrel. So 2 of the baskets you're going to go through and you're going to weave in your little slats. All right. Whatever colors you want. I thought the pastel basket looked really cute, whether you do it in a pop-up card like this or just having as a basket. The other 2, you're going to go ahead and cut off the handles. All right, so pretend that I have the handles cut off. Now I would make sure that you cut off the little nubbies at the top, okay? And then you're going to fold it in half. You're going to fold both of them in half, all right? You can score it, but I found it just as easy to just fold them in half. And then you're going to find about a 1/2 inch mark, and you're going to fold them again so that you've got straight lines, pretty much straight lines, okay? And you're going to do that with both of those other pieces. These are going to become the side pieces here to the basket. All right, so that's going to become that on each side. All right, so on my little template here, I've got this piece you're going to do times 2 of them. The dashed line means you're going to score it there, and it doesn't have to be super exact because this doesn't have to be super exact. Close enough is good enough. All right, you're going to put glue on one side, and you're going to glue it in there. All right. And you want to kind of make sure that it's standing up kind of straight up and down. All right. Then what I did was I glued the other side. And then when you fold these over, they're going to be like this. Glue your other basket right to those. And then you're going to have your little 3D basket. All right. Then I've got this other little piece that is 1 3/4 inch by 2 inches. And you're going to score it on that long side every 1/2 inch. So that when you do this, this is going to become the bottom of your basket. So you probably want to do this part first so that your sides, well, I suppose it wouldn't really matter. Whatever works out for you, all right? So you're going to just put glue on these outside pieces here. And you're going to put your 2 baskets together. You're going to have your sides glued together. And then when you've got this together like this, you can have it all decorated with your little scallop pieces. All right, you can put your little grass in there if you want. And then you're just going to put glue on both sides by the fold. And then you just slide it in your card and close it up. And then when you open it, voila, there's your little basket. And the bunny, all I did was took a strip about a 1/2 inch, maybe a little less than, right about a 1/2 inch, just narrower than whatever bunny it is you're going to use. And I think I have it at about 2 inches tall. Just eyeball it and see how tall you need it to be. And I just folded it over so that there's less than a 1/2 inch little base there that I glued onto the back half of the basket that's attached to the card here. And then the bunny just kind of is movable in there. So whatever you put in there, if it's a gift card, make sure you put a glue dot on it so it doesn't fall out when they're looking at their card. Or if you put some little flat candies or some cash or something in there, you're all good to go. All right. Does anybody have any questions on that quickie rundown on how to do it again? All right. So that's it. 4 basket cutouts, fold in half, fold in about a 1/2 inch, cut off your handles, and just kind of glue it all together. And then make a little base piece. Allie! All right, if you just missed my little rundown, you want to rewind and watch it again. Maybe take a screenshot of this, like so. And then maybe a screenshot of this and this. All right. And then when you watch the video, you'll have an idea of what I did. All right. Hopefully, oh, I suppose I should zoom that in a little bit for you. All right. So there we go. If you've got any questions, watch last night's video. I think I went through it slow enough because I'm a putsy stamper. Hopefully I went through it slow enough that it makes sense. And then when you can see the little pieces here, 2 inches by 1 3/4, the 1 3/4 side goes there, and it's just scored every 1/2 inch. And that's going to tuck in like so before you put it in your card. Okay? So you can kind of see there how it goes. Perfect. All right. That is getting put out of the way. So yesterday, when I was working on that, I did a little query and asked if we should work with the little bunnies again or if we should do something different. And the response I got was do something different. So that's what we're going to do. Our little bunnies are just going to have to hop off to the side and let's play. I thought what we would do is work with this new designer series paper. All right. So this is the Garden Poetry. It's new paper coming out. I believe it's an online exclusive. An online exclusive. Hopefully I am not getting the cold that MacMan has. And I think everybody has emailed me their address that I need. If anybody's still looking for the lasagna soup recipe, send me an email. I haven't found my note yet. It's here somewhere. All right, so anyway, here's this beautiful paper. All right, so keep in mind what color we want to work with. All right, so that should be Berry Burst. This is probably Calypso Coral, maybe. Maybe some Blueberry Bushel. Shaded Spruce, I think. Maybe some Crushed Curry. If that's Blueberry Bushel, that's our Shaded Spruce. Ooh, that's pretty. And let's just see how close I am. Berry Burst. Oh, Blackberry Bliss. And Blueberry Bushel. Coastal Cabana, which is one of the blues. Crushed Curry, Flirty Flamingo, Night of Navy, Poppy Parade, Pumpkin Pie, and Shaded Spruce. So some of those kind of variegated ones. I missed some of the colors on. So what color should we do to make a card today? What do you think? Blackberry Bliss is one of my favorites. And what did I say that blue was? Blueberry Bushel. Does anybody have a preference? I'm planning on using the sheets that have some of the foliage things on there. So maybe we should do this. You choose. I might actually go with the Blueberry Bushel then, because that's a color that I do not use very often. Depending on how putsy or how putsy I am not, tonight we might be able to get more than one done. All right. So I'm thinking, let's just make sure. So if we do Blueberry Bushel and Shaded Spruce, we could use this one. I think that might work, okay? And then we need to decide if we're going to use Nature Symphony or Friendly Foliage. And we're going to have some of the foliage pieces here. I really like this one because these leaves are so realistic. This paper is the Garden Poetry. This is a new online exclusive that will be coming out. I think it's getting released the first part of March. I think that's when the online exclusive drops. So it should be like the first Tuesday in March, I think. Okay. It's really pretty, don't you think? All right, so Friendly Foliage. And if you're a demonstrator, kidnapper, community coach, business builder, whatever, you can pre-order it now. All right, so I believe it's a pre-order item. In fact, let me look it up just for kicks here. And it's part of a suite. So yes, Garden Poetry, it is in pre-order status right now. So if you have joined Stampin' Up, you are eligible to get this. And if you haven't joined, so that you're not eligible yet, and if you don't want to wait, then you need to join. It's as simple as that. Okay, so let me go get the Blueberry Bushel and Shaded Spruce inks. And then let's see what other color we might want to do. I don't know if I need the blending brush or not. Interesting that they match those two colors together when they're not on here together. But Balmy Blue is a color common to both of them, as is Daffodil Delight. Why don't I get both of those just for kicks? Some Daffodil Delight, some Balmy Blue, some Shaded Spruce, and Blueberry Bushel. So I've got all the cardstocks for that as well. Just have to find a place to put them. Oh, you did just get it, huh? Okay, what did you get? The friendly foliage? Anybody else have a choice? So we can do, this one's fun because I like that. We could actually kind of use both of them because I like those too. So let's just start cutting down some things and decide what we're going to do first. I think we'll do the base. I'm just going to take this one piece. Let's get some of this stuff out of the way. The Blackberry Bliss is really pretty too. Hopefully I won't create an avalanche. All right. And we're going to go ahead and I'm just going to cut this at 6 inches to make it a little bit smaller. And then let's do 6 inches here too. And we can decide what we want to do. Sometimes the paper is just so pretty. And you look at it and you think, oh, it's so pretty, I don't want to cut it off. Just cut it, because it's easier. It's easier to work with when it's already in pieces that are close to what you need, right? All right, so let's do some foliage pieces. We'll take one each of these. This one's mostly Shaded Spruce. This one's mostly the Blueberry Bushel. So we'll take these pieces and we'll start cutting out some of our foliage pieces. And we'll just see what we like the best. Whoops. Don't want to lose my dies. So we'll do some of this. And we'll do some of this. And we'll do some of this. I've got a lot of loose pieces here too. I might want to, I don't know, I might want to wait on this one. No, we can probably put that on there. We'll probably want a stamp on there though, because it'll look nicer if it's stamped. So this bundle is quite nice because you can do a couple of things with it as far as like the stamp. You can do just the outside and you can have it stamped and just do the outside, or you can do the outside and the inside and have those all cut out. So I'm going to do the outside and the inside because I really like it. But let's get a big enough block. That one's not quite big enough. Let's see, here we go. I got blocks all over the place. All right, so let's try this in Blueberry Bushel and see how it looks. It's been a while since I've used this set too, because when I first got it, we did a few things with it. And then I've just kind of left it to the wayside because there's so much to play with. I should have used the new Stampin' Positioner because if I don't get this right the first time, whew, then I could line it up to do it again. I am not sure how this happened. Usually I put the colors in there. Oh, I wonder if maybe they weren't, they might not have been giving us multiples at the time. Because this I've had for a long time since it wasn't in color. And it's more than an in color now. It's a regular, it's a core color as part of the Regals collection. I think that's pretty good. Let's get some of this tape here. I don't get anything for it, but this Post-it tape is pretty nice. And I could have probably just ripped that in half too, but I didn't. I should probably do one of those like affiliate agreements or something so I can get pennies on people's purchases, right? All right, so we'll do that first. I think it might be, well, I could probably do this. Let's give it a whirl. Oops, I'm just moving everything now. I feel like I'm not quite lined up. There. That's better. Everybody's pretty quiet tonight. Everybody's had a long, hard day, I take it. All right, let's get Bossy Bessie out here. These I think we can just kind of run through like that. They don't really need any tape. They're pretty random, so they should be fine. So we need our base plate and our shim. And then we need our 2 cutting plates. I have one that I always put on the bottom. That's the rattier one. And then I have one that is marked as the top. Rosa, you're fighting a cold too, huh? There's like a lot of crud going on. And then as a reminder, when you're lining up your plates, if you have that bottom cutting plate pushed in a little bit, it's easier for the machine to grip them without fighting it so much. Okay. Hopefully everything's lined up pretty good. Your symptoms get worse at night. I wonder why that is. All right. Look at how pretty that is. Isn't that pretty? So we'll use that as like a focal piece on the front of the card. We'll see what it looks like. I have no idea what it's going to look like. I have absolutely no idea. That's what happens when you're just winging it. All right, but we might be able to use more of that. Let's put that on my magnet so I don't lose it. And then let's do these pieces. I don't know if you can see how dry my skin is. Hopefully not. My skin is really super dry. This is gorgeous. Look at that. Just how it, with the way the paper is, it really, I don't know if you can see that over there. It really gives a lot of dimension to those leaves. I like that. All right, and then we've got a little one. I'm going to make a couple more of these. Whoops. So you had to go back to Dallas. That's a lot of driving over a couple of days. Yeah, I thought it was more than a 3-hour drive, but that's still plenty. Well, I'm sorry she's not doing better. That's hard when it's so far away and you have to do that commute. It is a very long day. Oh, look at this one too. Very pretty. Oh, I even like that side too. I'm just gonna do this. Look at how pretty those are. So here's the one with the shaded spruce. I really like using designer series paper like this to do die cuts. And then I don't care for the back of that one quite so much, but this one's kind of cool. And then here's that little piece. And the back of that would be okay. Yes, this is gorgeous paper. All right, so I'm just going to set these off to the side. And this friendly foliage set, these are just so like delicate and realistic with all of the lines in there to represent the veins. It's quite pretty. There we go. I did that yesterday and the die bounced all over and went way under my craft table. I thought I had lost it. All right, so let's see what else we can get out of here. We'll do a couple more of these little leafy things. I'll try to use up a lot of the little pieces on here, little spaces where we can get some good color. Sorry I didn't get these cut out ahead of time. We can blame Rosa because that's the last thing I did before I came live was get her her gift packaged and ready to go. And it's all set for the postal carrier. Let's do some more over here where it's next. Am I zoomed in too close or is this all right? Are you proud of yourself, Rosa? do we need any more? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That might be enough. I can always cut more if I need them. But I'll hang on to that in case we need to do a little bit more. All right, we'll put this one on the magnet also. And let's get Bossy Bessie out of the way. And let's get that old trimmer up here again. Let's do some blueberry bushel first. Oh, I know, I should have cut some of the foliage pieces out of the plain old cardstock too. I think let's do something a little different. Let's do like a bookbinding card. Haven't done one of those for a while. So I scored it at 5.5. I'm going to cut it at 4 1/4. Oh, and I probably should have done this too. So we're also going to score it. Whoops, get that cutting blade out of there. So we're going to score it at 4.5 also. 4.5-ish. Close enough. And I could have flipped them, but I was too lazy. All right. And then let me get some shaded spruce. Oh, I already have some of those cut in portraits, so we're just going to do that because it's easy. All right, so for this one, we're going to go ahead and put glue here, and we're going to turn this into our little fun fold. But wait. So if we do... So if that's 4.5, we need 4 1/4 by 4. So we'll do 4 1/4 by 4. We're going to do that here. I just wonder if we need another layer under there. All right, and then this one is going to go by 3/4 of an inch. And then I need to cut that down, I guess. I thought I'd already done that. So I do. I think that was just 4 inches. Oh, I should have cut that off the green side. Oh well. So we're going to do that. We're going to do this again because I want some of that green off of there instead. It's still kind of a lot of green, but it's all right. All right, so that'll go like that. All right, and then this one, well, we're going to end up doing, you know, some of this sort of thing on here. And some of these other little pieces. And we're going to put a sentiment on there. It's going to be pretty basic, but we're going to use some of the ribbon. Did I put that away? And let's see, do I have a blueberry bushel blend or not? I do. See, that's how seldom I've used these. I don't even know if I've ever used these because we're going to color our ribbon. because I don't like it cloud cover, but I also want to see what it's going to do if we trim it in half. Because sometimes they fray a lot and sometimes they don't. That might be all right to put a little knot on there. All right, let's go for it. And we're going to color this. I just dropped a scrap of something. Oh, there it is. So if you come up with some ideas, if you want me to stop and try something else, say so. All right, and then this piece we're going to do, I think I want this one to go the whole length of the card. So I'm just going to trim this down. I think I want another layer behind here. So I'm going to do this at 4. Using vellum for like the leaves, do you think, or something else? That's a nice idea. I like that. I don't use vellum as much as I should either. And it's very pretty. So I'm going to get another piece. So vellum, do you think I should do the foliage pieces in vellum or do like a circle behind there? It would tone down the busy, wouldn't it? But we're also going to have a sentiment on here. Yes, a circle. We can do that. We have the technology. All right. So that's going to go there. This will come here. I'm going to get another layer. This is not quite straight. These are not quite matched up. What did I do with the bone folder? That is a good idea. That's why we're all here together. All right, so this will go here. I think I can trim this down a little further because I'm going to add another layer of green here just to give it more layers. It's not super noticeable, but I think it gives it a little polished look, just having the extra layer on there. Can you see that? Maybe you can't even see it. But I think it gives it just a little extra classiness to have that extra layer, unless you think I should do a different color. We can figure that out before I start gluing. So let me go get the vellum. I'm seeing some hearts, so I'm hoping that's okay. Let me get the vellum. And then, oops, here's another piece. I don't want to lose that. Trying to keep my debris in check, but it doesn't always work. All right, I suppose I should keep those, otherwise Juju might chastise me for getting rid of some perfectly useful scraps. All right, so this made me very happy that Stampin' Up! Brought vellum back. So this is the vellum 12 by 12s. The number on here, if you don't have it yet, and you get 12 sheets of it. It's $167.99. The last vellum that we got, that we had, was 8.5 by 11. So the fact that this is 12 by 12 is really nice. All right, so let's find some circles. Everything I have, if it's not a punch, has stitching around it. This is the big one. That one doesn't go quite so large. And let's see if we do, that's too big. That might not be too big for this one. Let's cut it and see. We can always make it smaller. Well, let's just go 5 inches. Now let's go 6, why not? And then we can run this through the die cutting machine. I'm just gonna bring over my cart and I'm gonna set up Bossy Bessie on the cart so I don't have to keep disrupting the table here. Ooh, now I'm wondering if I should just do a square and put it over that whole piece. Oh, I'm really zoomed in too. How did that happen? Whew. You keep pumping your head. That's funny. I don't know how that happened. Because I didn't even touch the camera part on my phone. Oh, I needed that piece that was there. I need this one. Maybe I kind of like it with the green on the top. Let's glue that on so that I don't lose it. Yeah, when I turned around from the die cutting machine and looked at the screen, I'm like, oh my gosh. I felt like I was going to bump my head too. That's funny. I think YouTube's just playing tricks on me. No, I wasn't worried about the foliage fitting inside or outside of the circle. That doesn't bother me so much. But I kind of like the muted look of the vellum over that paper. So if this is 4 1/4 by 4, let's just look. Maybe just do it a smidge smaller. Let's just see what that looks like. Now on my screen, it made it look like there. So we can do this. I could even make it just a smidge smaller so we can see a little border on there with these. What do you think? That really does tone it down. I love this paper, but it makes it look a little mysterious there with the vellum there. Anne Percival, welcome from Canberra, Australia. So we're at about not quite 1 a.m. on Tuesday. What time are you at? 19, are you about 8 o'clock? Welcome. Have you been here before? I don't recognize the name, or it's been a bit since you've been here. I don't remember. But either way, welcome. So what do you think about the vellum? Do you want a square on there? Or do we want the circle? And I can make the circle smaller too. So 6 p.m. 18. So you're 17 hours ahead of us. Right? Because 6 p.m. would be 1800. It's 100. Yeah, 17 hours ahead of us. What kind of crafter are you, Anne? Isn't that pretty? But you still haven't told me if you like the square. So Rosa says the square. Anybody else that I might have missed? I think I'm going to cut this square down just a little bit more. I'm going to take maybe an 1/8 inch. And then we'll see if that's enough off of there. I probably should have used a different trimmer, because I just recently changed my blade, and that's probably going to make it a little more dull. Is that enough of a border, or should I do more? What do you think? Yeah, I think the square is the bomb here. And I just wonder what should I do with the extra pieces of vellum here. No, that doesn't show up enough. That won't look good. At least it doesn't look good to me. So we'll hang on to this because we might like a smaller version of it for this card. We'll see. All right, so do we need a little bit more border or not? I think I need another smidge off of here. I don't think I took off quite enough. Whoops, I think I went crooked. Vellum doesn't work really well when you have to take off just a smidge. It wants to tear a little bit. But we can fix that. All right, let's get that out of the way. All right, so these are Spotlight and Nature dies. I hope those are still available. I didn't even look. If they're discontinued, I apologize. Oh, that is stunning. Very pretty. Nice choice, ladies. And then we'll do another piece of this. And then we need to figure out a sentiment to put on here too. They are available. You just purchased them. Wonderful. Thank you for that, Suzanne. I appreciate it. And those dies are just so versatile. They're beautiful. Now this would actually make kind of a decent masculine card, don't you think? With the blues, there's not florals with the foliage on there. We got the dark here. I still need to do a ribbon. What did I do with my piece of ribbon? Here it is, because we're gonna colorize this a little bit with the blueberry bushel. And I think we'll do the light. So I am going to, now this is cloud cover ribbon, but we're going to turn it into blueberry bushel because we can. And then I'm going to cut it down the middle to make it narrower. And then we're going to make a knot. That's why I didn't make it super long, because we don't need it to be super long. And with my blend, obviously I'm using the side of the brush tip. I don't want to use the tip and scribble because I don't want to break my tip. That could be painful. All right. So that was the light blueberry bushel that I used. And then I'm just going to get my heat gun and put it on low and dry that ribbon a little bit more so it's easier to work with. Otherwise I'll probably get all inky. Let's see how we did. Well, that's pretty good. Nothing carried over, so it's dry. All right. Yeah, I like the lighter colors because you can make them any color you want them to be. And it seems to me that we don't have as many colors as we used to. I think because they're making more neutral colors more often, and we can do this. All right. So where is my little bone holder again? Oh, for goodness sakes. Oh, I put it away. Go figure. All right, so let's just tie this around here. Hopefully I made it long enough. Ooh, just barely. I think maybe I should do this as a little bit smaller knot. All right. And we've got our nice little flag on here. So I don't have to put a bow. So if we're going to give it to a boy, they probably don't want the bow, but the knot will look nice. And long enough. I was trying to conserve, but that's all right. I have lots of it. We'll just color another piece and we'll make it much longer this time. So if I need to wrap it around and do a knot, I think that should be enough. Yeah, that ought to do me this time. Let's try this again. It'll be like deja vu. And again, I'm using the light blueberry bushel. So Anne, I don't know if you mentioned, if I missed a comment, what kind of crafter you are. We've got some gals here that do junk journaling, cards. One of the gals Vicky does some like mixed media stuff. There's just a whole bunch of different things. Let's dry this off again. Sorry. I guess I kind of colored on both sides. I just like to put it between the paper to see if any of the ink runs off, but it didn't, so we should be good now. Those pieces are big enough. I can use it for something else. The one that was too short, I can still put it somewhere else. All right, let's try this again. My chickens were happy today. They got to go outside in the yard and play. Because it's very nice. It was in the upper 50s for us. That's Fahrenheit. So there's some little flyers here. I'm just going to trim those off. All right, let's go back over here now. Because this now I have plenty of space where I can put this on here now. So, or plenty of length that I can put those on. So I'm only using the seal where I'm affixing the ribbon. And I do just have to trim a couple of these edges again. And that is a risk you take when you trim your ribbon, that it might fray on the edges. But it'll be all right. Chances are if I'm giving it to a boy, he's not gonna save it for very long anyway. Although I have to say MacMan saves his cards. He's a saver. So Rosie, you had rain all day. That's kind of a bummer. It was sunny by us, windy, but I'm all right with that. Because if we have really windy at the start of March, it's like in like a lion, out like a lamb, right? Isn't that the dilly? I think we're supposed to have rain on Thursday. That'll be pretty. All right, so let's go ahead and put this piece on now. And I'm gonna match up, I had the green down here before, but I'm gonna put the green up here so it kind of flows with that. No, I have this side up. Whew, you guys should have stopped me. I almost glued the wrong side. Thinking, wait a minute, that's why we put the vellum on there, because of the foliage pieces. Ooh, crisis averted. But I do see my fingers are really blue from the blueberry bushel. Now I just have to see which is the long side and which is the short side. Because they're very close. All right, and then this piece is going to go here. Now, When you're putting vellum on, if you use glue and put glue all over the whole thing, you usually don't notice, or I'm told you don't notice the adhesive. If I use seal, you're going to be able to see darker spots where the seal is. But if I put an adhesive sheet on the back of here, it'll be fine because, where did all my little foliage pieces go? Where did I lose my foliage pieces? Seriously? All right, who remembers what direction the foliage pieces went in? What direction did they go? They didn't fall. Oh, for goodness sakes. Well, I don't know what happened there. All right, so you would put the foliage on the vellum first. So that's the... Oh, come on, gals. What did I do with the... Here they are. Whew. I knew I had them. I knew I hadn't thrown them away. All right, so this one says, where did it go? To a great guy. What do you think? We could do to a great guy on there? And I'm thinking if we use blueberry bushel and emboss it in white, if I put an adhesive sheet all over the back of this, it'll be hidden. But if we just put it where the foliage pieces are going to be, we can certainly do dimensionals or glue dots on them as well. Either way would work. But let's do some of this first. So we could make that go all the way across there. Oh, if I do that, I can just put seal right across there, right across the middle. And that'll be concealed by our little strip here. So there. All right, Versamark. Bossing Buddy. White. I hope I can remember what has to go where. I got a lot of stuff going on here. Whoops, I guess I'll re-ink that. Whoops. And then we'll try to make sure we've got that in the center. But let's use this. I think that's pretty close. Nice. can get rid of one note because I did the little sample pieces for Allie for the basket. And Allie sent some cute pictures of some of the Easter basket things that she's made. So I will post those at some point on the Facebook side of things. We'll get this heat set. There's like a little piece of fuzz hanging up off of here. That was kind of weird. So Juju, what's your glue gun's name? Is that Hank? This is not nearly as powerful as Hank or whatever. Juju has like an industrial strength heat gun. It's like a paint stripping gun. I have one in the basement for my paint stripping needs. All right, so if this is gonna go here, this is gonna go, oops. This will go here, this will go here. Nice, nice, nice. So do we need some lighter colored foliage in here or not? Or do we think this is good? Or do we need more pieces, more little pieces of foliage? What do you think? You think that'll work? Maybe a little piece in a lighter shade. Let's see what we can find. Or that looks kind of hokey. All right, so let's do this. We're gonna get a piece of this. We're gonna do a little ink blending. And we're going to make some lighter foliage pieces. All right, where is our little, oh, we could probably do a little branch on there even. All right, let's run this through and see how it looks. How did I get so zoomed in again? Has it been that close, that long? All right. And then what did I do with the little piece? So that almost looks like balmy blue. Better? We can kind of work with the placement a little bit once I start attaching things. I think that works. So let's start sticking some of the stuff down. Oh, I love hearts. So somebody must be liking it. Good, 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 good. All right, so let's go ahead and put some seal down the middle of this. And I'm using Seal Plus. And the thing about Seal Plus that I like is, I don't know if you notice the difference between the regular seal and the Seal Plus, and I don't even know if you can see it. But there are like separation lines in the Seal Plus, so that when you lift it off, it's already like perforated and split. So with the regular seal, a lot of times when I try to separate it, if you don't do like your little check mark at the end, you'll pull the adhesive right off that backing piece, and then it doesn't always do what you want it to do, because then you pull off the other stuff that's coming through. But you can see where I've got the Seal Plus, you can see it's a little darker. It's not super obvious, and maybe most people wouldn't notice, but I think we would. As crafters, we would notice that. All right, so let's go ahead, and I think what I want to do is maybe separate these just a little bit, because part of this is going to be hidden, and that way I can maximize the size of that foliage piece behind here. And then this piece can come right on top of here. And maybe kind of woven in there a little bit. Then I can also just snip part of this stem off because it's a little long. And then here's a lighter piece that'll come down here. Nice collaboration on this. I think it's going to work quite nicely. In fact, that might look good to have that over the edge of that label. Just a little bit. And then this other piece can kind of hide that. We'll take off part of the stem. So let's go ahead and put some mini dimensionals on the back of these leaves. Could be using my Take Your Pick tool to put those, pull them off and put it back on. Alright, I'm going to put that right kind of up to that corner there. And And this one I can actually just take that part of the stem off as well. All right, and I'm not worried about those being loose in the middle because it's going to be covered up anyway. All right, and then this little piece is going to come up on here. So I'm just going to put some glue on the back of there. Hello, Robert, welcome. How are you today, tonight? All right, now I'm just going to let that set a little bit. And then let's go ahead and put this piece on. So I'll put a couple of dimensionals on these leaf tips. And then I'll put a little bit of glue here. Thanks for popping in, Suzanne. You can always see the finished product by clicking back into for the replay or going to Facebook. I'm trying to get back into the habit of posting these on the Facebook page as well once they're done. That's good, I like that. Nice. All right. And then this piece, still a little wet. We'll put another one up here, right? I think that's what we decided, to camouflage that just a little bit. Maybe if I can get the glue to come out. I don't want too much because I don't want it oozing all over. And then this one can come down here. But I'm going to wait because I want to put this piece on. And I'm going to put a couple of dimensionals in the middle there, and then I'm going to glue it on the ends. Guess I'll go this way. Just so it's got a little bit of lift in the middle. And I think I'm going to put one more piece in here. And then I'll put another piece on top of there. We'll give it some extra lift. And then because it's lifted here, it's going to be easy for me to put this over that stem on the blue one. Hopefully that's straight enough. All right, and then this little piece, we're going to make sure I need to trim this other little stem here that's peeking out. And then this piece will go over here and camouflage the end of this piece that we did ink blending on. And then let me see if I can find some little embellishments, because I think it needs just a little something there. So where did these Moody Palette Glossy Dots? I think the dark ones are too dark, but I think these will work nicely. So let's just put a couple of them on here. All right. And I'm just waiting for this to kind of set a little bit. I don't want to have a bunch of oozing glue on my foliage pieces. So let's just take a look at this one. And I'm not going to finish the whole card, I don't think. We're just going to get some of these layers on. What did I do with it? Here it is. This is my scrap piece. So the shaded spruce one, let's just go ahead and I think if we put these together and put that layer up on dimensionals, that'll look even better. Bling is always good, you're right. You're right. Let's just keep this down where you folks can see it. Rosa, you're going to sleep too. At least you have an idea of what this is going to look like when it's done. We're just going to have one more little foliage piece there. And then what I'll do is I'll put a white layer inside with, I think, a border of that designer series paper for the message, whatever message needs to go inside. And this is going all the way edge to edge for the height, but then centered. And I think what I'm going to do is, I wonder if we could do, let me get the shaded spruce blends. And I'm going to color some of that ribbon, if I can find it. What did I do with the ribbon again? Well, you know, I can't keep track of stuff to save my life today. Let's make this one a little bit smaller. I think that'll be better. Let's go ahead and cut this down quick. And I might be able to use that ring for something, who knows. But that can go there. And let's go ahead and put these dies away. Thank you, Allie. I'm glad you like it. All right, so here's this other piece. Oh, I should probably do a rectangle. I don't like the circle with that one. I think we need a rectangle. We'll save that. Let's see what else I have. Oh, I know, textured notes. Hopefully these are still available, because these are really a staple too. Just for the piece of vellum behind here, I think maybe that bigger one. That'll be nice. And I don't think we'll need, these aren't going to work with this because that shape is more rounded. Let's take a look at, let's see. I thought there was another one that was more rounded. It might be, here it is. But maybe I'm just losing my mind. We might be able to put a piece behind. We'll see if it's too busy. Oops, and I just got this on my hand here. So we can go ahead and put this down now because it's tacky enough. There. I really like this one. You lost your bunny stamps for 4 days. Yeah, it happens. It's like, I know I just saw this. I don't know where it went, but I just had it. I know I did. All right, so let's get these put away so I don't lose them. And then I can put away my stylish shapes too, because we didn't use those. And then I think one of the days this week, I am going to just pull out all of my things and we're going to look them up and see if they're on the last chance list or if they're active. All right, I am going to color some more ribbon. I think this one might need to go up and down also. Or maybe not. Maybe if I color some of it, it'll make up my mind. All right, ribbon scissors, where'd you go? Here we go. So I'm gonna do a light shaded spruce with this one and see how it looks. And again, this ribbon that I'm using is Cloud Cover. Look at how nice that's coloring with an alcohol blend. If you still have regular markers, those will not work the same as alcohol blends. They do not dry the same. and you could still get a lot of ink transfer even when you think they're dry. And your ribbon, what I have found, gets more stiff than with the alcohol blends. It may still get a little stiff with the alcohol blends, but it's still pretty flexible. More so than I found with just regular markers when I experimented with those some time ago. It's been a while, but you know, Stampin' Up's not selling the markers anymore, but if you still have some, because I'm keeping mine, it's not like I'm going to throw them away just because they're not going to sell them anymore. Let's just see how this looks. And then I'm going to dry this too. And our heat gun works really nice if you just put it on the lowest setting, the #1 setting. It works nice for drying ribbon and ink. So you're having a hard time lining your woolly friends up on your Stamparatus. So did you try to do the template like I did the other night? Because you should be able to do that with the Stamparatus too. So take your piece, put whatever pieces you're going to stamp, put down your plate to pick up your stamps, ink them, put them back down so that then you can die cut whatever you're going to use, whatever stamp you're making, and then make a bunch of them, and depending on how many you're making, then you can just put them right in there. Or you're struggling lining them up. I suppose it's harder depending on what one you're using because they are specific shapes. I think this one we might do a little to the left. Do you like it with the ribbon on there or not? I like the ribbon. I think it looks pretty. I'm not sure about this piece, if I really like that or not. I think this suits me a little bit better actually, because these are more realistic to go with the paper, where these are a little more, I don't want to say cartoon-ish, but they're not as realistic as these. So how many of the Woolly Friends are you going to be using? I think that might work. But I was going to do another knot. I don't know if I should do that or not. Get it? Knot. Let's do it and just see what it looks like. Bone folder again. Probably put it away. Yep. All right, so this one I think I'm going to do nearer the top. So I'm going to have it off center. Well, it's good that you'd make multiples out of every stamp set because you really do have to kind of make it worth it, right? We'll see how this works with keeping the ribbon a little wider. All right. I like that. Oh, the Stampin' Seal Plus though, be careful here. I don't know if you noticed, but it started lifting up my a layer of the cardstock, so you just need to be careful with how much pressure you use. Oops, that's not on tight enough. What happened there? I must have been holding it in midair. Yeah, I do 3 with my senior group. I do have my coffee and a card on Wednesday. I might do one of these cards in a simpler fashion. And I think we'll put that right under there. And if we put this on here, we can still take these apart. Yeah, what do you think? And then put, I don't know if I need to do a lighter piece like we did on the other one or not. Colleen Casey, how are you? And we'll do a little sentiment. Now this, because of the color, I think it's a little more feminine. And I think I'm gonna do, You're on my mind and in my heart. Because I have someone I can send that to. You think it needs a bow instead of the knot? But I already glued the knot. I already put adhesive on it. Oh, you didn't see the knot? Okay. Because it's not really a bow, but it is kind of a bow. All right, and I'm going to get, let's see. That'll be good. Thank you, Colleen. So here's the first one we did. And we did it as a bookbinding card, bookbinding fold. So I still have to put the designer series paper inside here with a white layer for the message. I'll do that later. So let's go ahead and ink this up. So we're using the new Garden Poetry Garden Poetry paper. What is it called? Who remembers? Garden Poetry. It's a new online exclusive paper that's, you can get it on pre-order. So that's what both of the shaded spruce and the blueberry bushel are done with. And then we tried the friendly foliage, but I wasn't really happy with how it looked on there. I think it looks better with these leaves that go more with the designer series paper. I do really like this set though, the friendly foliage. It just didn't work for me today. And I've got kind of an inky mess going on here. Got a lot of stuff to clean. All right, so that's good. I think that might be just a little bit crooked. I can't decide. No, I think that's good. What do you know? So I have to put this all together, but that's going to be kind of tucked under here. I think Rosa came up with the idea to put the vellum on here, which I really like. This I'm going to save because I can do that on another card. I think I might add that on there just because I have it, and why not use it instead of losing it. I think I'll trim it down. I think I'm going to put that in here. Somewhere. I think that's going to go on there. So that's going to be modified just a little bit. So that's how that one's going to look. Let's find those dots again. So these are the Moody Palette Glossy Dots. I don't like any of those colors, but let's do the dark. Let's see how it looks if we put it on the cloud cover. The cloud cover is such a neutral color, it doesn't really add any tint when we're coloring it with the alcohol blends. I think that's going to be quite nice. Yes, the vellum did really soften up the color. It was pretty busy when we had the foliage pieces on without the vellum. I think I kind of like that up there. Kind of hanging over that side. All right, I'm going to put a little glue on this. We're going to let it set a little bit to get tacky, and I will add that on. So we'll just set that over there. And then let's start putting some of these pieces on. And I think we're going to go ahead and do the glue dot onto the vellum and then attach the vellum where the glue dots already are. Although with this, we're going to have this across here. We can put Stampin' Seal right there. And it'll work fine. An alternative would be to use adhesive sheets over the entire piece. Because you can, for me, I can see where the adhesive is. Any crafter is going to see where the adhesive is, but a layperson probably would not. Okay. And then we can do glue dots on these foliage pieces now. Because We're going to have this whole layer up on, we're going to have this whole layer raised, so I'm not going to raise up the other pieces here, if that makes any sense. We're going to get our dimension by having that whole layer raised up. You got the spinners for the lamb's head. So like those little itty bitty, I have some like these spinners. Those are going to be adorable. So I think that was going like that. And I'm going to put one more glue dot down here. We'll have to roll it a little bit. Oh, those are going to be adorable. All right. So I'm still leaving the tips of the leaves loose so they can have a little bit of dimension. I could probably put this one, that's a pretty big leaf. And I just won't put, I won't put dimensionals down in the middle there. So let's go ahead and put my adhesive here. I'm going to use adhesive strips along here. Oh, Colleen, I didn't see your question. I'm good. I'm good. Snips. And then I think I'll put a little bit in the center here, the center-ish, just so it doesn't collapse. But then where I've got the dimensional on this piece, there won't be any dimensionals behind there, so that'll work good. Did I have a place that I was gluing? Yeah. That I was letting get tacky. There. Whoops. It's going to get tucked down there. I'll have to put a little glue on there, I think. Oh, I like that. That extra little piece just made the whole difference for me. It's amazing what just a small element can do to a project. All right. Make sure I've got this opening the right way. That's nice. All right, so let's go ahead and put some glue dots on here. Get rid of some debris. These glue dots, I have to say, are really sticky. Oops, I guess I need to take the backings off these dimensionals, hey? They might stick better. Alright, and then these I'm just going to put glue on because they will stick to the other foliage pieces. And I'm just tucking those little ends right up under that knot, the knotted bow. And these die cut pieces we did out of the same designer series paper from side B. In case anybody was wondering. I have a little bit of extra glue peeking out here, which is why I like to let it set, and I didn't there, but it'll be fine. And then here we're going to put a couple of, I think I'm just going to use mini dimensionals because it seems like they're a little bit thinner. So that'll be able to go there. And then we'll put some glue on these edges too. That's what I did with the blueberry bushel one. I put glue on the ends of the sentiment, dimensionals in the middle to give it some lift. I'm gonna snuggle that right under our knot. And then I think I'm going to tuck a couple of little glue dots under the ribbon as well. So that that doesn't shift. Oops. We'll kind of burrito roll those. So if you can believe it, the ribbon on both of these came from this cloud cover ribbon. That's new. That's part of the pre-order as well. And then we can put these few gems on. And we'll be good to go. There. Thank you very much, Allie. And thank you everybody for your suggestions with the vellum and all the things. It's a collaborative effort. And that brings me joy in my happy place, which is my crafting space. have almost all of my debris cleaned up. I'm going to save those because I can use those for something else. All right. Anybody who has not received the lasagna soup recipe that wanted it from, I think from before I went on my travels, you need to email me so I can send it to you because I can't find my note. It's here somewhere and it will turn up eventually, but I don't want anybody to think that I'm shirking my responsibilities to share the recipe. I do need to find my binder clip though to tame my ribbon. That's here somewhere too. Here it is. All right, so this is the cloud cover ribbon. It's 5/8 inch. These are the Moody Palette Glossy Dots that I colored for the shaded spruce one. We didn't color the ones for the blueberry bushel one because the cloud cover dots worked just fine. And I think that's a wrap. I do think that's a wrap. And then I'll wash my stamps maybe tomorrow. Oh, let's uncover this with the vellum. I think the vellum just really made these cards gorgeous. So when you get your paper, when you give these cards a whirl, go to the Facebook page, find the post for these, add your creations. I feel a little bit tired. Hopefully I'm not going to get sick. My husband was sick. Well, he still is with a pretty bad cold, but we had kind of a stressful end of the week last week. Well, we had kind of a stressful last 2 weeks while we were traveling. One of his best friends passed away, so the funeral and all that was last week, Wednesday and Thursday, and you know, just the stress of all that. It's not a fun time, but that's why I come in here. This is my therapy time, and it's a little after 2 o'clock, so we've been going for about 2 hours. So I appreciate the company. Oh, thank you, Colleen. Yeah, he was only a year older than me, so just a couple years younger than my husband. But you never know when it's your time to go, you know? We don't know our expiration date. But he went quickly. He had a massive heart attack, and at least he didn't have to suffer with a long illness or anything. It's just hard for the family and everybody to wrap their heads around it because he was young, seemingly healthy, didn't complain about anything. So, you know, it's just one of those things. All right, let's think about happier things. I love these cards. Thank you, Colleen. That's very sweet. And Rosa, thank you for the idea for the vellum. And Allie, I don't remember, you popped in with some things too with the lighter colors, I think, for the leaves and whatnot. So it was a collaborative effort. I appreciate everybody hanging around with me. Until next time, happy crafting, everybody. Stay healthy, stay happy. Thanks, Colleen, and we'll catch you next time.